I really didn't think my first scripted video in over a year would be a video essay, but here we are. I've been in the League community since its near inception. With the exception of a few, I've been there for every single champion release, every new piece of content they've added to this game. But a few days ago we got something new, something we've never seen before, something that I'm sure is going to change the entire landscape of League of Legends. This is Seraphine, and she is everything wrong with modern League of Legends. Every single aspect about League that I despise is prevalent in Seraphine's creative philosophy. Everything from her kit to her visual design to her marketing just reeks of corporate cash grab. And don't get me wrong, it's not like Riot has never made things for champions just because they're popular and can cash in a lot of money. I'm looking at you, 15 Ezreal skins. But Seraphine is a whole different beast. It's kind of difficult to explain, but perhaps we should start with... Let's dive into the moveset real quick, because to me it's kind of the least important aspect of what makes Seraphine such a terrible concept. I know we give Yone a lot of slack for being Yasuo too, and trust me, I hate those fuckers as much as the next guy, but you can't deny they are at least different characters. Aside from the Q, which, yeah, it's basically the exact same, Yasuo and Yone play very differently from one another, even if their function is kind of the same. To me, Yasuo and Yone is a lot like Jinx and Twitch, where technically they both fulfill the same playstyle of being super late game hyper carries with insane damage and range, but they still manage to be different characters. Mainly because one of them can go invisible, and one of them is complete trash. Both of those are Twitch, by the way. But Sona and Seraphine are literally the exact fucking same. Both have a damage dealing nuke on their Q, both have an AoE heal and an AoE speed buff. Both have a large AoE line that CCs the opponent in a unique fashion. It just feels lazy. If I could, I'd like to point out a bit of damage control for Mr. Reeve3 for when they were questioned about why Seraphine seems so similar to Sona. I mean, it's our second music champ. We have like 20 champions with swords, 2 samurais now, several fire mages. I think it's okay to have a thematic overlap as long as the champ feels different enough from each other. Ah yes, I see. Guys, there's 20 different sword characters. Surely, they're all just Yasuo. There's no way to make any of them unique. They all play exactly the same. So when we only have 2 music champions in the game, we have no choice but to make them the exact same, right? If you want to make another Sona so badly, why didn't you just fucking rework Sona? You could have given her the KDA skin too. People love Sona. They would have gone ballistic for that. And speaking of KDA, even though it's clear as day, the West is not exactly a huge fan of another pink-haired cutesy Disneyland anime girl. In the East, well, it's a different story. Blastoise actually made a really good video about champion appeal based on visual design, and the difference in preference varying by region. Now you might notice a pattern when looking at this graph. Do you see it? Over in North America, the favorite champions based on visual design are composed of some sexy guy characters, some sexy girl characters, an old man, a young boy, a werewolf, a bird person, a space dragon, the Grim Reaper's persona, and whatever the fuck Bard is supposed to be. Obviously, there's a lot of sexy human characters in here, but there's also a lot of differing body shapes and character types. Aurelion, for example, is one of the lowest play rate champions in the game. And yet, he's still a fan favorite because of his visual design. For fuck's sake, right? Just revert Aurelion Soul. I swear to God, just do it, okay? Now take that in contrast. Let's take a look at China's favorite characters, shall we? Sexy girl character, sexy girl character, sexy guy character, sexy girl character, sexy girl character, sexy girl character, Weeb Ninja Man, sexy guy character, sexy girl character. You see what I'm getting at here? Now you might be asking, okay, so China has a preference for visual design in their champions. So does every region. Why does their opinion matter so much? Well, my friend, Canada, US, Mexico. All the players play on one server here. Just one server is used to manage everything over there. Now please turn your attention over to China, where they have almost 30 fucking servers. Do you realize the implications of how many players there are over there?
If you think China has the largest population on Earth, of course they would have the most players.
Yeah, that's That's my point. Because the largest player base of League comes from China, and the fact that Riot Games is 100% owned by a Chinese corporation, more often than not, they're going to want to do what they think will sell best in China. Wild Rift is another great example. Every time I look at this game, I think, wow, this looks incredible. I just really wish that instead of making a fucking phone game, that League on PC just looked this way. Because there's no way I'm playing League of Legends on my phone. And I think that's the point. Wild Rift is almost destined to fail in the West. But in the East, and especially in China, mobile gaming is bigger than anywhere else. Wild Rift is going to be insanely profitable over there. This notion is further backed up, again, by the selection of characters. By compiling the data of all the champs, both confirmed and leaked through data, sooner or later, the roster will look like this. Notice anything? Could it be that 23 of the 36 monster champions are not in the game at all? Only 7% of the champions in Wild Rift are monster characters, while making up 37% of the cut ones. A third of all the cut characters from Wild Rift are the monster characters. I mean, surely there's nothing wrong with the only character representing the void being Kaisa. The only character representing the fucking monster dimension is the bland, sexy female character in spandex. Why would they make League of Legends again but cut out all the monster characters and opt for keeping only the sexy anime characters? Could it be they're marketing this game towards a specific audience? Gee, I don't know. It's clear that Riot is going to want to do what's marketable to their largest audience, and that's likely the reason why the last handful of champions have all been some variation on sexy guy or sexy girl. And no, Lilia and Yumi, you guys don't count as monster champions. You're half human, and you're just a fucking cat. You know who the last monster champion we got was? Fucking Ornn. In August of 2017. That's over 3 years ago, and he hasn't gotten a new skin since his release. Well, this bitch gets a motherfucking ultimate skin day one. Right, we were talking about Seraphine. We really did go off on a tangent there. Now that we have a better understanding of why Riot is opting for generic sexy anime bait champions every time, we can also understand why sometimes this method fucking sucks. Now, even though KDA Seraphine with her fancy ultimate skin is the talk of the town right now, I'd like to focus on what I feel has been completely shifted under the rug. Just how much of a jumbled, uninspired mess that her default look is. One of my favorite parts about League is its world building. I know to most people who play League, the lore doesn't matter at all, but I love it. I love being able to associate these characters to the different regions and factions. Even if I knew nothing about Aurelia, based on my knowledge of what Ionia is like, I could tell that she's from Ionia. Based on my knowledge of what the Freljord is like, I could take one look at Trundle and say, that guy's from Freljord. Now, obviously some characters like Fiddlesticks and Ryze aren't specifically tied to any region, but they certainly don't look out of place when compared to the rest of the cast. Now, this is an important part because I like to compare them to the character that in my opinion has the worst design in League of Legends. Okay, yeah, he's pretty awful, but for real, it's Annie. For me, Annie just doesn't work on any level. We have this big fantasy world full of monsters, demons, soldiers, swords, battle, blood. Why is there just some random schoolgirl with a cute purple backpack and cat ears? Of all the champions in this game, Annie is the least League of Legends looking to me. Ironic since she's one of the original 40, but that in itself is one of the obvious reasons why she looks so out of place, because back in the day they had no concern for world building, they were just in a mad rush to include every single character stereotype as possible. But unfortunately, unlike other champions who've adapted their visual style to better incorporate themselves into the world of League of Legends over time, Annie has remained almost the exact same her whole life. And that's practically attributed to the fact that she's kind of an icon. Like Teemo or Ahri, even though their designs could be improved, they're kind of too iconic to be changed. So even though Annie looks out of place amongst the rest of the cast, we can still give her a pass. Mostly because she's iconic to the game, and the fact that she was designed over 10 fucking years ago. Now this, if you told me that this was a Star Guardian or a pop star, or that this was just flat out KDA Seraphine, I wouldn't even bat an eye, because none of this looks like it belongs in Runeterra. Now keep in mind, she is from Piltover, the most technologically advanced place in all of Runeterra. But when I imagine Piltover, I imagine gothic buildings, experimental but crazy technology, science in progress before all else. And I can tell you right now, the last thing I imagined to be in Piltover would be a fucking KDA pop singer dressed in a fairy outfit. I mean, you could have at least gone with this one in the concept art. At least this one looks like she actually might live in Piltover. When I look at base Seraphine, all I feel is confusion. It feels like they really wanted to make a concert-loving singer character, but no place in Runeterra would realistically have any character like that. Like, imagine a new Star Wars movie comes out, and one of the brand new main characters is a VTuber. I mean, sure, it's a popular thing in our world, but in the world of Star Wars, it wouldn't make any sense. But no, we have to have our singer character, we have no idea where to put her, so fucking throw it in Piltover so we don't have to worry about making a new champion for that region for another 4 years. Bring on the 22nd Ionian champion, if you please. As for her lore, well, she has super special hearing that's amplified by the power of Hextech/Brackern shards, and it helps her sing soul songs to people in Piltover. She's also apparently able to hear the souls of the dead Brackern trapped inside the crystals. And she's the first person to do this, by the way, because Jace doesn't fucking exist, I guess.
You know what really grinds my gears?
About Seraphine's lore? It's that, number one, she is portrayed as a good person, even though she is clearly a narcissistic, selfish sociopath.
I miss your kind too, Skarner. Would you like to hear their song?
Bro, you are literally using the souls of his dead family to power your boombox. Shut the fuck up. And number two, her motivations make no sense. I can sum up Seraphine's lore right now. Like this. Me ears hurt. Corpse crystals make ears not hurt no more. Me hear voices from corpse crystals. Me pop star now. Seriously, they cover her rise to fame in like 3 sentences. Me feel sad for Zon. Me make hoverboard out of corpse crystals. Me help others find their voice. Yeah, I'm really sure Urgot, Warwick, Singed, Zack, Janna, Mudo, and Blitzcrank will really appreciate you helping them find their voice. Whatever the fuck that even means. There's no real progression, there's no real goals. The fact that she just becomes a singer feels so forced. It's like they had no choice to make her a pop star. Almost like they had an idea for a completely different character first. Now, Seraphine's kind of a weird case, mainly because she had been teased all the way back since June. 3 entire champions have been teased, revealed, and released in that time. Just to put that into perspective. However, it wasn't until literally days ago that we learned what her in-game model would look like. And that's weird because for the past 4 months, this was Seraphine. The KDA version was Seraphine. Now obviously KDA is Riot's biggest success in years. Popular K-pop artists collaborating, a music video that has reached nearly 400 million views. Holy shit, Giants, I am so sorry, you guys deserve better. Not to mention the billions of dollars in merch, and topping it all off with a quote-unquote live stage performance at Worlds. I mean, it was genius, tapping into an insanely profitable market with some of their most insanely profitable champions. But unfortunately, with success comes new expectations and standards. I think Riot knew they couldn't top KDA. They certainly tried. Again, Giants, I'm so sorry, you guys were done dirty. Now, although True Damage didn't flop by any means, compared to KDA, it was a failure. And because they knew that this new thing they tried didn't make them quite as much money as their old stuff, there was only one logical solution.
What if we, did it again?
And thus, we get KDA All Out. Why not spice up this whole ordeal with a brand new champion, Seraphine, ladies and gentlemen, and her release skin is an ultimate skin. Wow! Now you might be thinking, Riot, that's a pretty bold move to give this brand new champion an ultimate skin instead of giving it to one of your existing ones.
Well, you see, as we look to decide our next ultimate skin recipient, because of all your love and support for Seraphine, going on this very emotional journey with her, we thought she was the perfect candidate for our deep and compelling fantasy required for our next ultimate skin.
Don't give me any of that bullshit, Riot. You fuckers had this planned from the start. Now in reality, it is kind of a bold move to give the highly acclaimed, not you, ultimate skin to a champion who doesn't even exist yet. I mean, all the other ultimate skins have been given to really popular champions, not you, to ensure that they'll make a lot of money. I mean, there's no guarantee that a champion that doesn't even exist yet will make any money. Oh, shit. Now, to be honest, the whole stan community and parasocial aspect of Seraphine's Twitter makes me super uncomfortable. Thankfully, plenty of other people have talked about it far better than I could have ever hoped, so I'll link a few of my favorites in the description. Check out Scooch's, by the way. I work for him. Go subscribe to his channel, by the way. It's good, yeah. But the main thing I want to point out here is clearly how much effort went into this, but it feels like almost none went into this. Her gameplay, boring and a copy-paste of Sona. Her design, lazy and doesn't even fit in Runeterra. Her lore, half-assed with no clear goals or motivations. And she shits on Skarner. Give the guy a break, man. He hasn't had a skin in 5 years. But her KDA version? 4 months of setup, an absolute metric ton of promotional art, a whole KDA event to promote her spanning across 3 of their different games. And none of the KDA members are even in Runeterra. Why is there an event here? Should probably wrap this video up. This has gone on for like 16 minutes now. Okay, here's my final thoughts. Ornn is advertised as a fire god, but his skin makes him a thunder god. Set is advertised as a pit fighter. His skin makes him into a giant mech. Seraphine is advertised as a pop singer, but her skin makes her into a pop singer. What's the difference? I can tell you what the fucking difference is. The difference is that this is the one they've been advertising to you. This is the one they got you to care about. This is the real version of Seraphine they wanted all along. This is the one that cost $30 fucking dollars. All of this, everything you've seen is an elaborate ploy just to sell a skin. The gameplay, the base design, the lore, all of it was an afterthought. And you know what the worst part is? It won't matter. Generic recycled schlock has proven time and again that it can make money as long as it's specifically engineered to do so. Just look at Illumination. Minions is one of the best-selling movies of all time because all they did was perfectly engineer it to pander to as many people as possible. And that's what Seraphine is. Seraphine is the embodiment of what Riot Games is becoming. And Seraphine's just the start. We all know it's gonna work. We all know it's gonna make money. And because it's going to make money, they're going to continue to employ these business practices. This game's been going on for 10 years now. You'd think in that time the game would improve. It would be past pandering. They would have made enough money that they could just make whatever they wanted. And maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe all they want to make is generic cash grab pandering garbage. If that's the case, then I guess I'm the idiot then, right?